So I was up all night crunching the numbers, and I finally have something worth offering you guys. What if I told you that I could save you approximately $2,379 just by buying one thing? What is that thing? It is the Gainz 2.5 dumbbell fractional plates. Something this simple can save you $2,379. So today's video is all about really showing you guys how the Gainz can help you save a bunch of money when it comes to outfitting your gym with dumbbells. The Gainz themselves are really simple design. Like, it was really a necessary thing that needed to come out. Other companies had kind of tried to make them. Like Rogue Fitness came out with this 1 pound incremental weight, this 1.5 pound incremental weight. And these are well and good and all, but they don't really get up to that 2.5 pound that is necessary to bridge the delta between, let's say, a 5 and a 15 or a 20 and a 25. Enter the pandemic, and as a result, enter Gainz. Really made out of necessity, but a revolutionary way to add weight to a dumbbell without having to, one, really break the bank, and two, sacrifice on quality. These are made in USA out of American parts, which is really cool. I'm all about that on this channel. And they do a really good job of bridging the gap between those weight increments. I'd even like to take it one step further and just say, from my shopping online and research for this video, what I have found is that there's actually a lot of offerings in the urethane and the traditional hex dumbbell game as far as like really splitting up weight. So not only will these bridge those 5 pound gaps, if you just use one on each dumbbell, you can actually bridge those 2.5 pound, because they are all over the place as far as like 5, 7.5, 10, 12.5, 15. And I'm not saying that you don't need those. Those incremental jumps might be the thing that helps you break through that plateau. However, you don't need to buy all those. You just got to buy like the base ones and then just use these Gainz. Another thing that makes these really cool when you compare them to other dumbbell fractional plates is the fact that they have that spring tension built into it. So that spring tension actually serves really well to lock onto the handle and keep from moving up and down, side to side, and they only take up 0.6 inches of space, which per side that equals 1.2 inches. For most dumbbells and most hand users, that's going to end up being plenty of room left on the dumbbell for you to stick your hand in there. But I'm going to go a little bit more specific because I actually went and I measured my mitts. Now, I don't have the world's biggest hands. I probably have pretty ordinary hands, but when I made my fist and measured from side to side using my calipers, what I found is that my hands at the widest possible point, using like flexing my hand and stuff to make it wider, was 3.67 inches wide. So when you stick these Gainz on a hex style dumbbell, like this one that I have here, which has a narrower initial hand grip of about, I'm looking at my measurement thing here, 5 inches. What you're left with in the middle is 3.8 inches. Now for me, that means that as I'm grabbing this dumbbell, it is actually basically just touching on each side, but it's not uncomfortable. The smoothness on the dumbbell means that it actually works super well. So just like that, someone like me can use this just fine. Now you can measure your hand at home and see if it works for you. Now, if you're using like a urethane style dumbbell, all of those, or at least the ones I have, are about 5.6 inches inside to inside. That's less than the Ergo Hex and has a thicker handle. However, the Gainz still easily fit inside and leave you even more space in order, again, to bridge that gap. So this is a 10-pound dumbbell. Now it just became a 15-pound dumbbell. The other part of it that I like, and I talked about just a second ago, is that spring tension, which actually holds it on the dumbbell kind of up and down. Now, mind you, if I like shake it around, it'll kind of move around a little bit, but it doesn't move around on the dumbbell when you're using it, which makes it super nice when you're dropping the plates in between sets, etc. Not only do they go on the dumbbell nicely, but they also come off the dumbbell really nicely. So me just on camera doing a demonstration, which, by the way, doing demonstrations on camera traditionally does not go well. These come right off, super nice, and it really doesn't affect the knurling so much. Now, I've been using these a little bit, And I'm sure that after time and a little bit of abuse, I might start to mess up the knurling that's in this urethane dumbbell. But at the end of the day, it's really not that big of a deal. And if you're using the Ergo Hex style dumbbells, there is no knurling right there. So all that you're gonna screw up is potentially a little bit of the chrome finish. Because if you were to get a 5 to 100 pound set of dumbbells and 5 pound jumps, it's gonna end up costing you, I shopped mainly on rep for this, but it's gonna cost you about $5,699. Now, if you drop that to just buying the 10 pound jump, so basically the 5, the 15, you could start it at the 20 if you want, but I started it at the 5. So 5, 15, 25, 35, etc., and go all the way up to 100. That's where you're gonna save that $2,379. Now, that price is a little bit weird. I was on the Rep website shopping for dumbbells, and for the urethanes, which is what that price is based off of, you can't actually buy urethanes pairs going above 50 pounds, which that kind of sucks. I don't know if there's a reason for that. So I had to switch over to Titan Fitness to get the rest of the pricing there. But that's a lot of money to save. And that price includes, so like that cost savings includes the micro Gainz cost. Now, if you're looking to just do like a smaller thing, so like 5 to 50 pounds, and the Hex and the Ergo Hex are actually the same price, you're gonna spend about $1,099 in 5 pound jumps, $604 if you do 10 pound jumps, which leaves you with a $495 savings. But if you spend that $150, it's going to bring it down to about $345 savings. But still, we're not made of money. I don't think I've ever met somebody personally, at least in person, that's like, hey, I want to spend more money on my gym just because I want to spend more money for no reason. The other reason that I think these are great is because of the space requirement. Now, if you're buying 5 pound jump dumbbell sets, it's just going to take up twice as much space. So if you have the space and you want the money and you want the capability, just like, hey, I want to just grab dumbbells off a rack, I mean, go for that. Use the links below. I'll get a small commission from that. I'm not going to complain about you spending more money on dumbbells. But if you go check out Micro Gainz, you can actually half the amount of space that you're going to use for storage, plus you can support an American-made small company and buy an awesome product while you're at it. Now, the quality of these is really nice. I haven't really talked that much about the quality because the cost savings are so exciting, but the quality is really nice. They're made out of like single piece. It's like 2 pieces put together with a rivet in the middle. And what that rivet does is basically holds a spring set that is in a small cavity. You really can't see it. It's basically, it's really in there. The only place that you can kind of see it is in the very end. But basically it holds that little spring in place. Now, I imagine that they probably have really good customer service. It is a small company. I have not heard about anybody breaking these. I did ask about that. I asked a few people I know if they've ever had one of these break. And really, I can't imagine that they would unless it was like some sort of crazy amount of abuse. But if it did break, I'm sure that Micro Gainz would cover you. Again, they care about their customers. They care about that experience, which is part of the reason that you should shop with them. Now, I talked about the price of these earlier. Now, they are a change plate. They are made in USA, and they are American steel. They got the logo nicely stamped. They got the made in USA nicely stamped on there as well, which it looks really good. It's labeled at 2.5 pounds. I actually broke it down to grams because the website says that they are within 20 grams of spec, and both of mine were actually within 10 grams of spec, which is, that's like competition spec. So that's really good from Micro Gainz. Really proud of these things. Happy to have them in my gym. Now, the big question you guys are going to be asking is how much these cost, and it's basically right at $149, and that is for 4 of these. That's 2 pairs of these, which is what's going to give you your biggest bang for the buck. If you get 4 of them, you can just use 2 to do like a 2.5 pound jump per dumbbell, or you can use all 4 to do that 5 pound per hand jump per set if you're using, bilateral movements, doing anything with dumbbells. The real valuation comes down to whether I think that a product like this is worth it. And this is where I'm going to get really honest with you. If you have the space and you have the expendable income to purchase your dream dumbbell set all at once, so they all fade together, all colors all fade together, you don't have like darker and lighter if you have to mix match them later, I would say that maybe this isn't for you because this does require an extra step. But if you're like most of the home gym community that is limited by space and also by money, this might be a really good way to get a lot of versatility out of your set of dumbbells by basically just being more selective about which ones you're purchasing. You got to keep in mind that what you're getting is 3 dumbbells per dumbbell if you get all 4 of these. Now, I've shown you on video because I have them in my gym. I've shown you the Ergo Hex and the urethane style dumbbells, and I showed you the compatibility, but they are compatible with other dumbbells as well. I reached out to Gainz and they were able to send me some photos, and here are some photos of some other style of dumbbells that are out there that accept Gainz. They function just fine, they fit fine, you can still fit your hand in there, and they are a force multiplier in that way as well. The one type of hand weight that Gainz did not have a picture of that I could think of was actually the Havoc Triads, and since I have those, I figured I would just show you guys that they do in fact fit on the Triads. They are a little bit different because, you know, they kind of fit anchored off the one side, but basically on that 1 1/4 inch handle, they're gonna fit just fine. That's been it for this video. I thank every single one of you that took the time to watch my review of the Gainz fractional plates. If you think it's worth it, comment down below and let me know why. If you disagree with me or maybe there's something I missed, also comment down below, let me know why. Remember, when it comes to your home gym, you should always keep it better, awesome, and of course, badass. I'll see you next time.